help you?
Yes, a couple of the own newspapers came into my hands in New Orleans. They mention a man called Ben Cartwright.
Huh?
Well, is he a rather large man physically, about my age? He has 2 sons.
3 of them.
3.
What do you want him for? I'm Joe Cartwright.
Your father and I have urgent business together. Where is he?
Well, he's out of town right now. What kind of business?
Out of town where?
At Silver City. At a reception they're giving in his honor.
Look at this. A whole newspaper story about him.
We're booming him for politics. Fine man that he is. He'll make a fine governor, so he will. Little Joe here is checking me on the facts of his life. Be in tomorrow's paper.
Nevada and Ben Cartwright, a great future together. Well, I don't know about Nevada, but Ben Cartwright has no future.
What do you mean by that?
When he gets back into town, tell him I'm at the hotel. Charles Leduque.
I asked you a question.
Right, now.
Now, look here.
All right, now hold it, Cole. We'll smash Ben Cartwright just like we smashed the story of his life.
Hi, Jack.
Joe Cartwright, how are you? What can I do for you?
Listen, you got a fellow named Charles Leduque registered here?
Yeah?
Oh, what room is he in?
You got anything to do with that?
Yeah, maybe.
218.
All right, thanks.
Hey, Joe. That's good news, isn't it? I mean, about your father running for governor.
Yeah, it's just fine, Jack.
Yeah?
All right, where's that man of yours, the one that hit me?
I'm sorry about that, son. Why don't you come on in? Mr. Cole will be back shortly. Meanwhile, is there anything I can do for you?
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell me who you are and what you want with my father.
Oh, I'd rather spare you that ugly story.
Oh, what ugly story?
You know, it's really remarkable, the resemblance you bear to your mother.
I'll just leave my mother out of this.
Ah, it's a little difficult, considering the fact that she and I were good friends.
Oh, you said you had an ugly story. Couldn't have been about my mother.
You're right. That story was about the man she married.
You're lying, mister.
Take it easy, boy.
You got something to say, say it.
All right. You take a message to your father. Tell him to stay out of politics because the plans I have for him are liable to interfere.
What kind of plans?
Inspector Charles Leduque, New Orleans Police Department.
And you came all the way from New Orleans for my father, huh?
2,000 miles and 20 years.
Oh, well, I don't believe you, mister.
Go tell your father, see if he believes me.
I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him that I'll be back for your friend.
And in case you're curious, the charge is murder.
Now I know you're lying.
Ben, I must tell you, it's unusual in these parts for a man to be so graceful on the dance floor.
Well, I must tell you, I haven't danced in such a long time, but so lovely a partner would make any man graceful.
Your compliments are as smooth as your dancing. I'm sure you learned both arts during your stay in New Orleans.
Perhaps.
Ah, Bob, Alice.
Well, Adam. Louise, your father is a most generous host.
Well, it's not every day we can entertain the future governor. Adam's been telling me about his 2 brothers. It's a shame they can't be here tonight.
Well, The Ponderosa demands a great deal of work.
I know. And you're lucky to have 3 sons to do it.
Too bad we have to leave tonight. But Pa's got to get around the territory so that people can get better acquainted with him.
I think everyone in Nevada knows Ben Cartwright.
Folks, your attention, please. You all know about the fuss everyone's been kicking up about making Nevada a state. So it's time we started thinking about our first governor. Someone who'll fight with all his heart for the future of Nevada. My friends, I give you an able man, a charitable man, a humble man. I give you Ben Cartwright of the Ponderosa. Come on, Ben, say something.
Well, I'm deeply grateful. Well, I won't make a speech.
Oh, no.
In this country, we don't talk much about things. We get out and do them. The things I want, I believe you want also. A free country where we can raise our families in safety under God. Now, Nevada is not yet a state. But when that great day comes, if you still want me, I'll try to do everything I can to be of service.
Oh, I still want you. Your father's a wonderful man. He's going to make a splendid governor.
Well, meet the next governor.
Hey, hooray!
There ain't nothing to celebrate yet. Not until Nevada becomes a state.
Technicalities, Pa, just technicalities.
Put away there.
Yes.
What's the matter with Joe? Well, Paul, you've had a long ride. Won't you go on up and get in some fresh clothes? We'll have something to eat, and then we'll talk about it later.
Sounds good.
Pa?
What?
I don't think this can wait.
What?
There are a couple of strangers in town today. They came into the Territorial Enterprise. Made a few remarks about you I didn't like.
Well, I imagine there are quite a few people. Well, what kind of remarks?
Well, first, I better tell you who they are. They say they're on the New Orleans police force. One of them's an inspector named Leduque.
Leduque? Charles Leduque?
And you know him.
Is he at the hotel?
Yeah.
Saddle my horse. I'm Ben Cartwright.
Wow. Come in, Cartwright, come in. Been 20 years. You haven't changed much. You remember me?
Yes, I remember you.
I understand you're a big man in these parts. They're even thinking of putting you up for political office, governor, isn't it?
I have a lot of good friends.
A lot of friends and 3 fine sons. Well, I haven't been as fortunate as you have. Of course, a policeman doesn't have much chance to accumulate family, friends, or admiration.
Well, most people admire an honest man of the law.
Seems like you have everything and I have nothing. Of course, I've always been handicapped by this unfortunate infirmity.
I'm sorry.
Well, a bullet was responsible. Hurts. Every step. Yeah, see, the kneecap is shattered. Happened 20 years ago. I was on a murder case. The murder case of Simon LaRoche. You remember?
I remember.
You should, because you're going to hang for it.
Mr. Leduque, that charge against me was dropped 20 years ago.
Was it?
Yes, it was. I offered to return to New Orleans a month after I left. My lawyer wrote, said it was unnecessary, since 3 witnesses had testified that I had shot LaRoche in self-defense.
Well, do you have any proof, any documentary evidence?
Well, no, I was to have received a letter from the New Orleans chief of police.
But you don't have that letter. You know, Cartwright, your lawyer gave you some very bad advice. You are a fugitive from justice. You are still wanted for the murder of Simon LaRoche.
Mr. Leduque, that can't be.
Well, here's a warrant for your arrest. Go ahead, look at it. It's a true warrant. It's on the right paper, the right signatures, the right language. What more do you want?
The right motive. What's yours?
Do you remember a scuffle in the alley the night I came to arrest you?
We had a fight. I knocked you down.
You remember hearing a shot?
Leduque, you were after me. You wanted to kill me. I wasn't armed. I ran.
Yes, you ran. I followed you. In the dark, I fell and the bullet entered my leg.
I'm sorry I didn't know that. I didn't look back.
Well, you should have. Because it gave me a very special interest in your case. I started following you that night, crawling on my belly. And I'm going to continue to follow you until you hang.
I can't hold myself responsible for what happened to you that night.
You're going back to New Orleans with me and stand trial.
This warrant of yours is of no value out here, you know.
You know, if you're innocent, I think you'd be anxious to go back and clear your name.
My name is clear.
What do you think your name would be worth if people found out about your wife and Simon LaRoche, Governor Cartwright? Cartwright, before I'm through, you're gonna beg me to take you back to New Orleans. You don't believe that, do you? I swear it.
See you, Mr. Cartwright. That's Ben Cartwright. Gonna be first governor of Nevada when she becomes a state.
Hi, hello there, Ben.
Dennis?
And how are you now?
Well, to be perfectly frank, Dennis, not too well.
Aye, and I'll wager it's on account of them the two strangers.
Now, you've seen them, have you?
Wasn't it right in front of me that little Joe was hit? 'Twas you they were looking for. And by the look of you, it was bad news they brought.
Dennis, I suppose you'll be reporting what happened in Silver City.
Aye, it's right here.
I'd like to put something in next to it.
Hey, just one moment. Ready now.
To all of my friends in Nevada, my deepest appreciation for the way you've honored me. But for personal reasons, I hereby withdraw my name from consideration as a possible candidate for governor of the state of Nevada.
Here, take a look at that.
So he's withdrawing his name.
Uh-huh.
Seems like you've already begun to reach him.
Yes, sir. Things are beginning to fall right into line.
But for personal reasons, I hereby withdraw my name from consideration as a possible candidate for governor of the state of Nevada. But, Pa, there was no reason to withdraw, not yet.
I didn't want to, Adam. Believe me, I didn't want to.
Why then, Paul?
Well, you just can't leave your friends out on a limb waiting to be sawed off.
Your friends would have stuck by you.
You mean they'd have been dragged down with me? On a political campaign, if there's just one weak spot, one breath of scandal, your opponents find it and use it to destroy you.
But, Paul, if you were clear of them charges...
If. It would take weeks to get word back from New Orleans. If I remained a political candidate all that time, our names would be dragged through every pigsty in the state.
Pa, you're not telling us everything. It's not like you to run out of New Orleans now without the tribe.
It's the only thing I've ever kept from you, isn't it?
It's one thing you can still keep if you want to.
No. It's been too long already. Truth is something that always comes back at you, doesn't it? Joe, I've told you a great deal about your mother. You never really knew her. She was a wonderful woman, beautiful, slender, delicate, gentle. Treated Adam and Hoss like they were her own. She was like an angel to everyone that ever came into contact with her. And then this man, this LaRoche, Simon LaRoche, came into our lives. The man I killed.
Why'd you have to kill him?
Your mother came from a certain notorious section of New Orleans. A section the sailors called the Flats.
Well, what difference does it make where she came from?
No difference, not to me. But to a man like LaRoche, it presented an opportunity to cash in on her past by threatening to destroy her reputation.
Threatening her with what?
He blackmailed her to keep her past a secret.
To keep what secret?
Joe, I...
What secret?
Joseph, I don't...
To keep what secret?
What your mother did or did not do before I met her is of no importance. I loved her, and I married her. She was a wonderful person. But your mother was afraid of scandal. Not for her sake, but for mine, for Hoss's and Adam's. So she paid LaRoche. She paid him. Until I found out about it. I went to see him. We talked, got into an argument, a fight. He pulled a knife and I killed him. In self-defense, but I killed him. I felt I couldn't stand trial because then everything that your mother wanted to forget would have come out.
So it comes out now, 20 years later.
Yes. That's why I feel that maybe if I go to New Orleans, I can put a stop to it.
There's another way.
Joseph.
Paul, let me go.
Not the mood you're in. Now remember, Leduque is doing his duty. I want you to promise me that you will do no harm to him of any nature.
I want to go out for a while.
I'll go with you, little Joe.
I'd rather go by myself.
Joe?
I promise.
Ben looks kind of lonely.
Well, hello there, cutie. Hey, what's your name?
Dixie?
Well, that's a pretty name. Say, how'd you like to come over to the hotel tonight and have supper with me?
Ooh, that would be nice.
Is that all right with you, Inspector?
Go right ahead.
You look like you could be fun, Mr.
His name is Charles.
Charlie, huh? Charlie, bet you I could get you out of that lonesome mood.
I like being alone. I have a lot to think of.
Think? You're wasting time. Mister, it's against the law to be alone in Virginia City. I think I could like you.
Child, if you got to know me, you'd hate me.
Hey, why is he so hard to get to?
Well, he's got his reasons.
With that leg and all, I feel kind of sorry for him.
Here, have a drink.
What about your friend?
Friend? He's not my friend, he's my boss. It's my job to look after him.
Leduque! Leduque, I want to talk to you.
I don't have anything to say to you.
I said I want to talk to you, Leduque.
And I told you I don't have anything to say to you.
My pa told us the whole story.
When you say the whole story, I figure you mean the part about your mother, too.
I'm warning you, keep my mother's name out of your filthy mouth.
You know, you and I ought to be on the same side. You just get your father to take that little trip with me, and your mother stays an angel.
You know, I gave Pa my word I wouldn't kill you. But if you drag my mother's name through the dirt, so help me, I will.
You'll have to kill me first.
Oh, maybe that'll be the best part.
He's dead.
It was self-defense.
Not the way I saw it.
Well, you saw what happened.
You just got through doing me the greatest favor of my life. Because now I can tell my story under oath in a courtroom where everybody can hear. The whole story about your mother. You just give me the chance. That trial will be about her, not about you.
Well, you're not going to get that chance.
What happened?
Go on, get the sheriff. Young Cartwright just shot this man down in cold blood.
Sheriff, evening. Anything wrong?
I'm afraid so, Ben. We're looking for Little Joe.
Little Joe?
You ain't gonna like this. He shot a fellow in Virginia City. Killed him.
Oh, no, Sheriff.
No question about it, Ben. Where is he?
Who was it he was supposed to have shot?
One of them fellows from New Orleans, name of Cole.
Oh.
This Inspector Leduque, he witnessed it. He said Little Joe just up and did it in cold blood.
Oh, Sheriff Brady, you know Little Joe better than that.
All I know is he shot a man and run away. And we gotta find him.
Sheriff, now I know Joe will be coming home. Let us bring him into town to you.
All right, Ben. Your word's good enough for me. Come on.
I was hoping I'd find you here.
I thought you'd come. I wanted to say goodbye.
Son, you're not going anywhere.
I got no choice.
Well, there's always a choice. Here it's the choice between running away or facing up to what's happened. What did happen in town?
Well, I went to see Leduque.
In spite of what you promised?
I promised I wouldn't harm him. I didn't say I wouldn't see him. While I was talking to him, Cole came in. We got into a fight. He drew his gun and I killed him.
Trouble is, the sheriff's wondering why you ran away.
I had a lot of choice with Inspector Leduque, the only witness.
Well, it's your word against his. People of Virginia City know you, and I know they trust you.
Pa, that's not the point.
Well, what is the point?
Leduque told me what he'd do at the trial. He said he'd get up in front of that whole town and tell all those dirty lies about my mother.
You were running away to protect your mother's name? Is that it?
Yes, that's it.
Your mother begged me to stand trial in New Orleans, no matter what the consequences to her.
But, Pa, I can't do that.
I made a mistake, Joe. I can't let you make the same mistake. You come home with me now, and tomorrow morning we'll ride into town together. Son, you've always trusted me. And running away will ruin your life. And it won't help her. Come home. I'm asking you. To your prisoner.
Thanks, Ben. What have you got to say?
Shot him in self-defense.
Cole's gun was in his holster.
That's impossible. He drew first.
It was there. Why'd you run away?
Maybe he figured he'd be framed, like what's happening now.
You know better than that, Adam. You'll get a fair trial. God lock you up, son.
You boys wait here. I'll be back in a few minutes.
I saw you riding into town with your son. If you've come to plead for him, you're wasting your time.
Leduque, you didn't come to Virginia City for my son. You came for me.
I do rather admire you for bringing him in. It shows a certain respect for the law.
Respect? My son tells me you saw the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
He also tells me you can clear him.
Every criminal claims he's innocent.
Don't call my son a criminal. And let's stop beating around the bush. You came to Virginia City to close the LaRoche murder case. Well, I'm going to give you a chance to do just that.
Are you offering me a deal?
I'm offering you a deal. Now, you clear my boy. I'll go back to New Orleans with you.
Well... Well, I don't know, though. You're asking me to perjure myself. I'm an officer of the law. The truth isn't open to whim. But, now suppose I do make this compromise. Would you return with me unarmed?
Yes.
And alone? Just you and me, on horse?
Yes, I would.
And would you give me your promise, your word, that you'd make no attempt to escape?
I'd give you my word.
How long would it take you to get horses and provisions ready?
An hour?
Make it an hour and a half. I'll have time to get outfitted. I'll meet you at the jail and clear your son. We'll leave directly from there. And Cartwright, you should feel relieved. Every criminal always is who finally surrenders himself to justice. Coming.
Pa, who's coming?
Inspector Leduque. He's agreed to tell the truth about the shooting.
Tell the truth, why?
I'm going back to New Orleans with him. Now, I'll be back. I'll be back soon.
Sheriff?
Inspector, Ben says you got something you want to tell me.
Yes, about the death of my associate, Mr. Tom Cole.
Step over to the desk, please.
You see, I was rather dazed by what happened. And so I rather confused the facts.
Unconfuse them.
Well, as I recall now, Cole was drunk. He drew first. Joe Cartwright fired in self-defense.
What about the gun in Cole's holster?
He put it there himself before he died, sort of a reflex.
Mister, you really was confused, wasn't you?
Maybe the strange climate. I rarely bungle the facts like this in New Orleans.
Well, mister, from now on, stay in New Orleans. We need you around here like we need the plague. You belong in that cell instead of little Joe.
Sure, if everybody makes mistakes. Ask Ben Cartwright.
All I want to ask Ben is, will he accept my apologies?
Thank you, Sheriff. Don't let little Joe out of his cell until I'm well away.
Why not? Where are you going?
Just do me the favor. See you when I get back. Well, little Joe will be out pretty soon now.
Paul, I know you told us not to, but how come me and Adam can't ride out about 10 miles and intercept you? If a couple of outlaws rode up on you, it wouldn't be your fault, would it?
Forget it, Hoss.
Well, at least we can ride along with you. You can't object to that.
No, he does object. I said I'd go alone.
Well, now, why is that so important? What's his motive?
I don't know. Anyway, I gave my word.
I'm waiting.
Adam.
I'll get you a pack horse, Paul.
You're not a bad cook. You know, reminds me of something happened recently. There was a case where a condemned man wanted to cook his own last meal, and then he didn't have time to eat it. So I did. You know, it was very good.
Sure it was. Leduque, why did you wait 20 years to come after me?
I'm an officer of the law. I'm subject to the orders of my superiors.
I just can't believe that your superiors suddenly decided after 20 years that I should be brought back.
Well, I made that decision myself, because I had to become an inspector before I could do so. The fact that it took 20 years is your fault, not mine.
My fault?
Yes, I've already told you. A man with a physical handicap doesn't rise fast in police work.
I told you before, I don't hold myself responsible for that accident. It was an accident. It happened in the line of duty. Now, when you became a police officer, you must have figured that you'd have to take certain risks.
Well, strangely enough, I used to use those same arguments with myself. I knew that my hatred of you might become an obsession. I wanted to control it.
I wish you'd been successful.
Oh, I was for a while. But then as I watched inferior men being promoted over my head, I began to wonder whether I wasn't being too charitable in my thoughts about you.
Is that when you started to think about vengeance instead of justice?
Well, didn't I have it coming to me after all the misery you've caused me?
I don't believe that any man is justified in using a badge to satisfy his personal hatreds.
You're so cold-blooded in your thinking, Cartwright.
No, I've hated men in my time. But I've been able to control myself and not allow that hatred to influence my life.
Oh, why not? You're a rich man. You have sons. You've loved women and been loved by them.
Oh, that smashed knee of yours, it's really been of help to you, hasn't it?
What do you mean?
The way you use it to lean on like a crutch to explain away your personal little failures in your police work with women and your relations with other people.
Stop it.
Well, face it. It's not your knee, it's you.
You stop it or I'll shoot you now.
Now. That's true, isn't it? You never intended to take me all the way back to New Orleans, did you?
Got it all figured out, haven't you?
How was it to happen? I was to be killed while trying to escape, is that it?
You'd like me to say yes, wouldn't you? So you'd be free to break your word.
No? I don't intend to break my word. I don't intend to try to escape. Because I'm going to get all the way to New Orleans.
Just in case you have any idea of killing me first.
No. I don't want to kill you. Good night.
I'm not going to sleep tonight, Ben Cartwright. I'm not going to sleep any night while you're alive.
Looks like a warm one today.
What are you waiting for? Mount up! Get away from me! You heard me! Get away from me, Cartwright! I think I'll put a bullet through your leg, so you'll know how it feels. All right, get over.
Do you have another gun?
This'll do it. They've had enough.
What's that? Eat you up.
They weren't after scalps. They're after horses.
How far is the nearest settlement?
Well, there's a way station up ahead.
How far?
About 20 miles.
20 miles.
Over those hills. Without horses. And without water.
Come on. Stay ahead of me. rest a while.
You gotta keep moving. His son will kill you.
I can't walk anymore.
You gotta get to water.
Stay away. I don't need your help.
Well, let me help you now.
I said stay away.
Go ahead. Pull the trigger. I'm waiting 20 years for this.
Let me get him some water.
Easy, easy. That's enough.
You brought me in. Why didn't you leave me out there to die?
Couldn't let you die out there.
Why not? We'd have both been better off.
When's the next stage leave for the East?
It's due in sometime tonight.
Where are we going?
New Orleans.
There's nothing in New Orleans for you.
You were warned for my arrest, don't you?
You were right. I intended to kill you before we ever got there. But you can't kill without hate, and now the hate is gone. Sort of a relief.
This warrant was never any good, was it?
You were cleared 20 years ago by everybody except me. That letter the judge sent you, I intercepted it. Why didn't you leave me out there to die?
Can you rustle up some food for a couple of hungry men?
Him too?
We come in here together, didn't we?
You betcha, mister. Just give me a couple of minutes.
Well, let's wash up.
Give me a hand.
Take this bunch on in. I'll look over that hill over there, see if I can find any more.
You be along after that?
Well, if I don't find any, I'm liable to be sitting by the fire by the time you get those in the corral. Take it easy.
Right.
You'll never get that thing off. Why don't you quit?
We can try, can't we?
Much good as it'll do. Tyler, he's slowing us down. Telling you, Bolton's picked up our tracks by now.
You ain't gonna leave me, Sutton.
We're not leaving you.
If you hadn't killed that guard, Bolton wouldn't have found out about us for another day.
I never meant to kill him. I was just paying him back for something he done to me. Over to this friend's place where you're taking us. Maybe he'll have a chisel or something.
Sure. We'll just walk in and tell her you always go around wearing chains.
A girl?
I always knew you were good for something, brother, but I never figured to be making houses out of cards.
I ain't got but 3 more cards left. I'm gonna make it this time for sure.
Gee, I'm proud of you, brother.
Yeah, you have to breathe so dadgum hard when you're talking. You won't blow out in a house of cards here.
Oh. Yeah, well, see, when I mean I'm proud of you, I mean I'm really proud of you. Ooh.
Dadgummit, little Joe!
Oh, hiya, Fly. How are you?
Oh, it's nippy out there.
Yeah.
Oh, did you collect them strays?
Huh? Yeah. I got a couple of them, and I checked them right off on the tote sheet.
Good.
Ooh.
Haven't get back too?
No, but he said he'd be right along.
Good.
Sit down, Pa. Glad to see you.
Huh?
You boys are riding the line out by the old ranch, weren't you, little Joe? Maybe Adam just decided to go by and pay Miss Netta a visit, Paul.
You know, I wish one of you boys had sparked to Miss Netta. She's a fine girl. She's a handsome one, too.
Hey, Paul. What about little Joe? Don't you think he'd make a nice husband for Miss Netta? And you could arrange it, too, couldn't you, Paul?
That's not a bad idea.
Hey, look, you're kidding. I don't want to get married, Pa.
Oh, she's a pretty girl, isn't she?
Well, yeah, but...
She's pretty, ain't she?
Pa, I think she's one of the prettiest girls I've ever seen.
Of course she is.
And she's got the makings of one of the finest little horse ranches in this country, ain't she, Paul?
She certainly has.
It's all paid for and clear, little Joe.
Yeah, well, I don't care. I just don't feel like getting married. Well, not for a couple of days, anyway.
You know, Hoss, I think he's going to change his mind.
I'm sure he will, Paul. And when he does, we're going to all be real proud of him.
Yeah, it must be Adam.
Sounds like more than one to me, Paul.
Detail, halt!
Soldiers. Oh, that's strange.
Mr. Cartwright?
Yes, that's right.
Detail, dismount. Stand to your horses. Captain James Bolton, Provisional Barracks, Fort Dayton.
Well, Captain. Oh, please, come in. These are my sons, Hoss and Little Joe.
How are you, Captain?
Well, Captain, I suppose you must have your hands pretty full these days, what with the Indian uprisings and all. Oh, please, sit down.
Fort Dayton is a casuals post.
What's that?
Place for troops deemed not fit for line duty.
Well, the least we could do is get your men some coffee. It's pretty cold out there today. Hoss, see that Hobson get some coffee out to the men.
Yes, sir.
Hold that. My men are on duty.
Well, I ain't on duty, Captain. You want some coffee?
No. I'm trailing 3 deserters that escaped from my stockade.
Well, Captain, do you think they headed up this way?
The trail led to your land.
Well, as I was riding the fence all morning, I didn't say anything. How about you, Hoss?
Nope.
No sign of tracks, campfire, trampled down brush?
I didn't see anything.
Now, that's odd.
Well, Captain, I don't see why that should be so odd. We have a pretty big piece of land here. 3 men could very easily lose themselves on it.
Perhaps. Who else is in the house with you now?
Up Singh, our cook, our captain. Now, surely you don't think that those 3 men are hiding in this house?
It's not within my province to think one way or the other, Mr. Cartwright.
Then let me set you straight, Captain. Those men are not here.
Then you'll have no objection to my men searching the area.
Captain! I just told you. Those men are not in this house.
Let me state the situation very precisely for you, Mr. Cartwright. We know that those 3 men came to this general area. It is also quite obvious they cannot evade detection without some outside help. Now, anyone aiding them in any way will be charged with and tried for obstructing military justice.
Hoss, will you be good enough to show the captain out?
You betcha, Paul.
Captain, we've got a man out here, Captain.
Adam, and my son, let him go. Let him go.
Release him.
Adam, what happened?
I don't know, Pa. Just west of where me and Joe split up, I heard this noise, turned around, somebody jumped me.
Did you see their faces?
Well, let's get him into the house. Joe, get the liniment.
Okay, Pa.
Well, it's not as bad as I thought at first.
The men that assaulted you. Could you tell if there were 3 of them?
I know there were at least 2 of them. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I heard them talking about whether they'd kill me or not. There could have been a 3rd. Take it easy, Pa.
Paul, it looks to me like it's right now time for some settling up to be done.
Well, we'll do the settling up. Move over. Now, Hoss, I want you to bandage Adam up and get him up to bed.
Well, Paul, I kind of figured on riding with you.
Well, little Joe knows exactly where Adam and he were rounding up those strays. Now, here.
Anytime you say, Pa.
Yeah.
These are the men I'm after. They belong to me.
I think there's something we better straighten out, Captain. This is my land you're on, and that's my son who's been ambushed. Now, if you want to ride along, fine. But you ride where I say, and you ride behind me. Otherwise, take your men and get off the Ponderosa.
And if they are the men I'm after?
Joseph?
Let's take a breather.
Sutton, are you sure you know where you're taking us?
If you want to strike out on your own, go ahead. I'm not stopping you, am I? The ranch is over that way, I think. Yeah, I'm sure of it.
How do you know they're going to take us in?
I told you I worked there when I was drifting west a couple of years back. Yeah, I'd have stayed on, maybe, except the old man running it booted me off because his daughter took to me. I always promised Netta I'd be coming back for. Just a little sooner than I figured, that's all.
Oh! 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 Ain't nothing to hear us but hoot owls and crawlies. I don't like it neither.
You ain't ever known anything better.
Cut it out, both of you. That's an order.
That's an order. You hear him, Mertz? Only you ain't an officer no more, Tyrus, so maybe you ought to forget about issuing orders. You know, I still don't figure you out. Mertz here was facing the gallows. Me, I still had 5 years left to serve. Hey, this cave, it's a pretty good place to hole up. And you had about 6 months to do and you'd have been free. So why risk your neck breaking out?
My reasons don't concern you.
Maybe. Maybe not. Look, you two hole up here. I'll go see if it's clear at the girl's place.
I'll just go with you if you don't mind.
All right, but not him.
Let her scare off. She sees him parading up in them chains.
You gonna leave me?
Yeah. He's right. You lie low here till we get some other clothes and something to pry those chains off with.
You coming back for sure? You give me your Bible word?
You have my word.
If you're coming, let's get moving.
There's no sign of them up there, Pa. They must have headed off in that direction.
Yeah, probably kept to the creek there, the other side. Turning dry now, but the bank should still be soft enough to leave prints.
Yeah. Somebody came through here, Pa. Not too long ago.
Hold it. Here they are again. Spread out. Search any spot that's big enough to hide any of them. If that's all right with you, Mr. Cartwright. Put up your gun, Captain. All right, now. Where are those other two men that were with you? I charge and hereby arrest this man for known and specific crimes against the Articles of War. Captain. He's a military prisoner now. I'll get your answers for you. Corporal, take the prisoner in charge.
Yes, well, you better get those answers, Captain.
All right, Mertz. Where are the other two? You put a blotch on my record, Mertz, and I intend to erase it. Where are they?
I don't know. We split off. That's the truth, mister. I swear it.
Just get the answers, Captain.
Maybe you're right. If he knew where the others were, he'd be pouring it out. Because he's scum. And scum always breaks. Isn't that right, Mertz? Or have you forgotten what it's like in the hot box?
Someday somebody's gonna get you, butcher.
Well, it won't be you, Mertz. I can assure you of that.
No. No! 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 I'd rather die than go into that hot box! No! No!
The prisoner was attempting to escape. You're a witness to that.
I'm also a witness to the fact that you deliberately tried to murder him. Bolton, I'm going to see to it that my good friend Colonel Metcalf at Fort Dayton gets to know exactly what kind of officer he has in his command.
Nice ranch.
Yeah. Where do you see the gal who lives on it?
We better get cleaned up. First, scared of death walking this way.
Scare?
I guess you didn't listen good when I told you about her. We were real friendly, Netta and me. That ain't her I'm worried about. It's her pa. Stable's over here. Don't close the door so we can hear if anyone's coming. Hey, there's what we want. Here, put this on. Help you look human again.
Good-looking colt. His mother must have died. He needs care.
This is a fine time to be fussing over horses.
I sometimes prefer them to people.
And what's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. Just a thought.
I'd sure like to see Butcher Bolton's face right now. He's probably chasing us halfway across the Sierra.
I doubt it. Bolton's a sadist, but he was one of the best Indian trackers in the Army.
Well, we're not Indians. Besides, after we hole up here for a couple of days, they'll probably quit looking for us.
Not Bolton.
All right, not Bolton maybe, but the brass. They'll figure it's not worth the effort. You're an officer. You know how they think.
I was an officer. About this girl of yours. You've been gone for 2 years. How do you know she hasn't married or something?
I know. I'd like to make a little bet on it.
You already have. Your life.
Yours too. And don't you ever forget it. I told you I'd be coming back.
I thought you'd forgotten me.
Netta, you think I could ever forget you? Oh, Tyler, come here. This is my partner. I've been telling him all about you. Now he can see everything I said was true. Tyler, ain't she a beauty?
Sutton, you never even got close. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss. Tyler's my name. Paul Tyler.
Miss? Her name's Netta. Call her Netta.
How do you do? Are you in the Army with Jimmy?
No, not exactly.
Well, you see, Netta, I left the Army some time back. Tyler and me been doing a little prospecting.
Oh. Well, why didn't you just come right on up to the house? What are you doing out here?
Oh, we were covered with trail dirt. We wanted to wash up a bit before we barged in on you.
Now, was that fair? You get all prettied up and... Well, just look at me.
Oh, honey, you're wonderful. Just beautiful.
I'm going to take a walk outside.
Wait a minute, Tyler. Your pa's up in the house, I guess, huh?
Oh, well, Jimmy, Pa died over a year ago.
Oh, that's a real shame. I'm sure sorry, honey. Who's taking care of the place?
Oh, I have a hired hand, Charlie. He's in town for a week.
That's awful, you're being alone like this, honey. Oh, it sure is good to see you again.
Why didn't you write to me?
Oh, I couldn't. I was moving around a lot. You know how it is.
Yes, I know how it is, but do you?
Oh, Jimmy, after a while, I gave up hoping, and then I just stopped dreaming.
I didn't stop. That's the only thing that kept me going. Netta, I'm gonna make up all that lost time to you.
Jimmy, I don't think you can. I just don't think you can.
Let me try.
Ben, I've known you for a long time. But I can't accept these charges you make against Captain Bolton, not without proof.
Well, what more proof do you want?
Well, at the moment, it's your word against his.
That's right. Well, what did he tell you? That Mertz was trying to escape?
That's what he says in his report.
Well, have you spoken to Mertz? Have you heard his side of the story?
I would have done so, of course. Unfortunately, Private Mertz is dead.
Dead?
He attacked a guard in the stockade last night. During the ensuing struggle, he was killed.
And you believe that? You really believe that? Colonel, how many men have died in Captain Bolton's stockade?
Captain Bolton is an officer with a distinguished record, Ben. Commended several times for bravery in action. Perhaps you noticed his hand. He was captured and tortured by the Sioux.
The Sioux are savages. Captain Bolton, I presume, was a civilized, responsible person.
Come in.
Adams, yo, Boyd, right.
The colonel sent for me.
You know Mr. Cartwright?
Yes, sir, I do.
Captain Bolton, Mr. Cartwright has made certain charges against you. I thought you should be here to defend yourself.
I'm aware of Mr. Cartwright's charges. I'm sure the colonel knows my behavior has been and always will be strictly according to Army regulations.
Colonel, I've never heard of any Army regulations that cover the killing of prisoners.
Mr. Cartwright, maybe you don't know whom you're defending. Private Mertz killed a fellow soldier in a brawl over a card game. As for Sutton, he attempted an armed robbery of an Army payroll.
Ben, this is a casuals post. I don't know whether you realize that it's made up of outcasts and misfits.
They're still men. And as such, they're entitled to certain minimum standards of treatment.
Ben, I respect your opinion and your judgment, but this is the Army, and I have to stand behind Captain Bolton.
Yes. Yes. I understand. Good day, Colonel.
Good day, Ben.
Thank you, sir.
Captain, I chose my words carefully in front of Mr. Cartwright. But your conduct has been brought into question. If there's the slightest indication of any transgression of regulations on your part, I'll see that you're investigated. And if the facts so warrant, court-martialed. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
That's all.
With the colonel's permission, I beg leave to return to the Ponderosa with a detail of men.
Well, that's private land. We can't search it without permission of the owner. Or an order from a civilian court.
I have already obtained the required court order from the Federal District Court of this territory.
Request granted. But if I were you, Captain, I'd remember that warning I gave you. I'd remember it very carefully.
Sir.
That was great, honey. Nothing like a good meal to make a man feel like he belongs.
Thank you. Well, you haven't touched your food.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I've spent too much time eating army chow.
Army chow?
Well, he was in the Army, too, before we started prospecting. Who's that?
I don't know who it could be at this hour.
Netta, honey, would you do me a big favor? Don't say anything about Tyler and me being here.
Well, why not?
Well, we just hit a big silver strike, maybe, and it's best nobody knows about it. Not yet. You understand.
Well, good morning, Hoss.
Morning, ma'am. You sure do look nice in your new dress and all.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I don't want to worry you none, but Paul thought you ought to know about it. There's some Army prisoners loose.
Army prisoners?
Yes, there was 3 of them, but they ain't 2 now. One of them's already been caught.
Oh. Well, thank you very much, Hoss.
Ma'am, everything's all right here, ain't it? I mean, there ain't been nobody around here.
No. I'd ask in for coffee, but my stove, it's not working right.
Well, ma'am, I'll be happy to
No,
fix it.
Hoss.
It's not broken. It's just hard to handle. But thank you very much, Hoss.
Ma'am, you right sure everything's all right?
Yes, Hoss.
Morning.
Is he going? You can never be sure about people, honey. We heard about them army prisoners, too. It might have been one of them.
Might have been. Just exactly where have you been prospecting?
Well, up north a piece. Ain't that right, Tyler?
Sutton. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it is, if you say so.
Sure, it's right. What's got into you?
Jimmy? Is it you they're looking for? Is it? I guess it is.
But I was framed. Honey, you know me, I was wild, but I never did anything dishonest. And I tried to serve out my time. But you don't know what that stockade was like. Beatings, starvation. There was a captain, got his fun by kicking us around. You know what happened to him? He was in a sweatbox for 3 weeks. When they brought him out, he was almost dead. Tell her! Tell her!
Yeah, that part's true.
Why didn't you tell me all this last night?
I was going to. I was afraid.
Of me? You were afraid of me?
That's what Captain Bolton does to you. He makes you feel like an animal all the time, and you're scared. Netta, if you love me, Netta, if you love me, you help us.
What can I do?
Hide us out.
Oh, Sutton. Why do you have to drag her into this? Why don't we just get out while we can?
To where? They got Mertz. That means Bolton thinks we're heading out of here. We're going to stay here. It's our only chance.
Yes, you can stay here. Both of you. I want you to.
I knew I could count on you.
Thank you, Miss Nutter.
I don't know, Paul. She seemed all right. It was just that she was kind of nervous like or something.
You mean by her not letting you in the place?
Well, that and it was just a feeling I got. I don't know how to explain it. If I didn't know Miss Netta better, I'd think she was trying to get rid of me or something.
Well, if things didn't seem right, why don't you have a good look around the place?
I kicked myself all the way home for not doing just that, little brother.
I think we'd all better take a good look around that place.
Suits me fine. I'm getting tired of being an invalid.
Adam, I'd rather you stayed home.
Oh, Pa.
Oh, what? With Captain Bolton and those deserters still in the area? Can't leave the house unguarded.
All right, I'll hold the fort.
The coat will be needing this.
You and that Tyler, you sure do a lot of worrying about that colt. I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
Scout around the area. Hey, that's Army talk. I guess it rubs off on you whether you like it or not.
Brought him some milk.
He needs it. Is it warm?
I think it's just right.
Come on, little fella. Drink some milk. Drink it. Poor substitute for your mama, huh?
Where did you learn all about horses?
I grew up with them. My father used to breed trotters back in Maryland.
Well, you don't see many of those out this way. I love to watch them, the way they move.
You ought to see them being trained. Oh, they fight you, make it tough, but once you have their trust, you can depend on them. I wish you could say as much for people.
You've been hurt pretty bad, haven't you?
Paul, there's something a little funny about this. I don't believe she left here without locking up, do you?
I don't know. You fellas take a look out back. I'm going to look in the stable.
Right, Pop.
You know, I get a funny feeling about you. Like you don't care whether you get away or not.
Oh, you're wrong, Netta. That's something I care about very much. Bolton's never gonna get me back in that.
Did they do that to you? Oh, that's terrible. That's just terrible.
I'm sorry you had to see that.
Oh, I'm not.
Netta. Netta, don't worry about me. I'm not worth it.
I haven't known you very long, but I think you are.
Oh, put it down, son.
Ben, please.
I'm sorry, Netta. I mean it, my son. Put it down. Come on, put it down.
And you drop that gun. Now, mister. I got the drop and I ain't gonna miss from here.
Oh, this is Ben Cartwright, don't you?
Get out of the way, Netta. Great work, pal.
What's great about it? I might have killed him.
Will he be all right?
I hope so. I hit him hard. Too hard.
Ben Cartwright, huh? The way he was talking. He knows who we are, doesn't he?
I'm afraid he does.
Nothing to be afraid of. His hard luck, not ours. Netta, get away from him.
No.
Get away from him. It's him or us.
Put it down, son.
You decided to start giving orders again, Lieutenant?
I have no choice. You try killing him and you're dead.
But what's got into you? You wishing to have Bolton beat you to death? All right. All right. But we gotta get out of here before he comes too.
Where are you gonna go? Do you have another friend?
All right, stay here.
What's the matter, Sutton? You forget something?
Netta, I can't leave you. Not with all the plans made for us. You and me, honey, we're gonna make a great pair.
Are we, Jimmy?
Drop 'em, boys. Drop 'em.
Right, get up.
Move. Move over.
Come on, get over there.
You all right, Paul?
Yeah, I guess so. That was quite a wallop, young man. What are you after?
Give us a break. You can help us get out of the territory, but give us a break, that's all. Mister, you turn us back there and they're gonna kill us.
Yes, I saw the scars they got in the stockade. Please, Ben, can't you help them?
That it's an army matter. It's out of my hands.
Well, what if one of them was your son, Hoss, or little Joe? Please, you gotta help them.
Well, if they were my sons, I think I'd ask them to give themselves up.
To the mercies of a Captain Bolton?
Give me your name tags.
What do you want them for?
So I can convince the colonel that I've really seen you and that you are ready to give yourselves up.
To Captain Bolton?
I'll speak to the colonel. I'm sure he'll be as fair as he possibly can be.
You ain't gonna do it, mister.
Do we have any choice? One thing, Mr. Cartwright. If Bolton comes for us, no matter what it takes, I'm not going back.
Take care of them.
Dismount.
I'm taking you into custody.
On what grounds, Captain?
For aiding and abetting the escape of an Army prisoner. Search him.
Yes, sir.
You're stepping over that line, Bolton.
I'll be the judge of that. Where are they? Which direction was he coming from?
From the west, sir.
Take your men in that direction and bring him along.
Yes, sir.
Lead on.
Come on, little fella. Come on. Come on, try. Up. Come on. He's gonna make it. It's funny what a thin line separates things. Yesterday, I wouldn't have given him much of a chance.
Sometimes it can be the same way with a man. Yesterday, I might not have thought you were worth saving.
Well, what makes you think I am now?
Well, you saved Ben Cartwright's life.
You know, we're going to be here for quite a while. Why don't you set yourself somewhere?
I'm just stretching my legs.
Well, I think you got all the kinks out. Sit down.
All right, friend. Don't get angry.
You think quite a bit of that coal, don't you?
Why not? He needed my help, and in a way, I needed him.
Yeah. Mr. Tyler, you don't have to answer this unless you want to. What'd you do that got you into all this trouble?
I was convicted of cowardice. Oh, don't look so surprised. It's true. The actual charge read dereliction of duty, refusal to obey a command, and cowardice in battle. It was in the border campaign against the Apaches. My first command. The regiment was pinned down, and I was ordered to take my platoon and make a flank attack in the open. 27 men against 400 Apaches. I refused. Maybe it was because I was afraid. All I know is that I couldn't bring myself to lead 27 men to their deaths.
How come they want you to do that in the first place?
That's the terrible part. I didn't know at the time that it was meant to be a diversionary attack. The real attack was coming from the other flank. Well, they were thrown back and half the regiment wiped out. Maybe my life and the lives of my men could have made the difference. But now I'll never know.
It wasn't cowardice, Paul. How could you obey an idiotic order and commit suicide with all your men?
You're wrong, Miss Netta. It wasn't an idiotic order. The Army generally knows what it's done.
Well, what were they doing when they put scars on him?
Ma'am, you can't judge the whole army by a man like Captain Bolton.
But, friend, that's the man we gotta go back to.
Look, Pa told you he'd take care of that, didn't he?
Look, your Pa's a good man, and maybe he's got good intentions, but he's never come up against anyone like Bolton before. I tell you, he's gonna kill us.
Oh, no, he ain't.
Look, there's only one way to beat this. And that's if you fix it so we don't have to go back.
Mister, we can't do that.
Can't you? This morning when I scouted the train, I left a buggy and a couple of horses up in the gully. All you have to do is turn your back for a couple of seconds and me and Tyler and the girl will disappear.
Save your breath.
Look, you think a lot of Netta, don't you? Don't you want her to be happy? Well, all right. What do you think she's going to feel like when she's watching them taking me away to be killed? She's been waiting for me all these years. Tell him, Netta. Tell him to let us go.
I can't, Jimmy. I just can't.
But why not? Hey. What's been going on in this stable besides taking care of sick colts? Okay, hold it! You take one step my way and I'll put a bullet in him.
You do that, mister, and all the bullets in that gun ain't gonna keep me from squeezing the life out of you.
Don't you worry none, friend. I'll do it. I got nothing to lose now. Throw your gun on the floor. Come on. The other one. All right, you. Over there with him. Move! So long, Lieutenant. You had your chance. And you're gonna have what's left of him after Captain Bolton gets through with him.
Corporal, you're a witness. He was armed and dangerous. You too, Mr. Cartwright.
Let's tell him that Paul's going to give himself up and that he doesn't have a gun.
I'll tell him, Miss Nettie, but Captain Bolton ain't gonna wait long.
Well, just give us a minute.
Yes, sir. Come on, little Joe.
Come on.
Where are you going?
The back door. We can still make it to the gully.
Oh, Netta. Bolton would shoot you down just as fast as he would me.
I don't care. I don't want him to kill you.
No, honey, I can't risk your life.
Paul, I love you.
Me? You love me?
Yes. Oh, yes. I want to be with you.
Then I can't run. I can't run.
He ain't got a gun, Captain.
Get out of the way. Corporal, this is Army business. I'm taking that prisoner.
Don't forget he hasn't got a gun.
Take them aside, Corporal. Tyler!
All right, Captain.
Drop your gun, Tyler. said drop your gun. All right! Cartwright, you're gonna be sorry you interfered with the Army. He's dead.
You'd better get started back to the fort, Corporal. We'll bring the captain in.
Tyler?
How long?
I don't know.
Well, I'll be here.
Let's go, Corporal.